Welcome to the Trendline Gala podcast. Today we are breaking down a question that I think every single person asks when they first start trading.
Oh, absolutely.
You know the one. You make a little money and you think, am I a genius or did I just get lucky?
It's that feeling, that rush. It feels great to win, but if you can't look back and say, I won because I did A, B, and C, then you can't do it again.
And that's what we want to talk about. The difference between real, repeatable skill and just random good luck. Because knowing that difference is what saves you money down the road.
It really is. So today we'll define what luck really is in trading, show how it sets this trap of overconfidence, and then most importantly, look at the clear signs of actual skill.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with luck. What does that even mean when we're talking about trading?
Well, here's what we know. Luck is basically when something good or bad happens, but you didn't really control the outcome. It was outside of your plan.
Right, like guessing on a test question and getting it right. You didn't know the answer. You just got lucky with your guess.
Exactly. Or, flipping a coin and getting heads 5 times in a row. It feels amazing. But you didn't suddenly get good at flipping coins. It was just chance.
So how does that show up in trading? Because those first few wins feel so real.
Oh, they do. A classic example is making a profit on your very first trade, even though you had, no plan at all. You just clicked buy.
I think a lot of people can relate to that one.
Or you buy a stock or a coin for a totally random reason. Maybe you saw it on social media, and the next day it spikes because of some unexpected news or hype.
Yeah, and your brain immediately says, I knew it. I'm a natural at this.
It does, but really, that was luck. You didn't control the news, you didn't control the hype, and those short-term wins often say way more about luck than they do about skill.
So why does it seem like beginners get lucky so often? Is there a reason for that?
There is, actually. Most beginner guides explain that new traders tend to jump in when the whole market is already going up, a bull market.
Ah, the old saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
That's it, exactly. When the whole market is moving up, almost every stock gets a boost, whether it's a good company or not. Your random pick might go up just because everything is going up.
So you think you found a diamond, but really you just got swept up in the wave.
Precisely. And on top of that, beginners often take huge risks without even realizing how big they are. They might put way too much money into one single trade.
A total gamble.
It is. And sometimes, just by pure chance, those gambles work out at the beginning. That early win feels amazing, but it teaches a really dangerous lesson.
That you're talented when really you were just lucky.
You got it. And that feeling, that overconfidence, well, that's where the real danger starts.
Okay, so let's walk through that. The danger that comes from beginner's luck.
Right. Luck creates overconfidence, and that overconfidence can destroy a new trader's account. It happens in a cycle.
What's the cycle look like?
It starts with that early luck. You win 1 or 2 trades without any real plan.
Okay, you're feeling good.
You're feeling great. And that leads to step 2, overconfidence. You start to think, I know what I'm doing. I have a feel for this.
I don't need rules. I have instincts.
Exactly. And that feeling makes you do the next thing, which is take bigger risks. You think, well, if I made $500 risking a little, I can make $5,000 risking a lot more.
And that's when things can go wrong.
That's when the luck runs out. And it always does, because it's random. The market changes, that rising tide goes out, and suddenly those bigger risks lead to much, much bigger losses.
And that's what people mean when they say they blew up their account.
Yes. It all started with a lucky win that led to taking risks that were just too big. To really get this, we have to understand randomness. The coin flip example is perfect here.
Okay, let's break that down.
Imagine you have, say, 1,000 people in a room, and they all flip a coin 10 times.
Okay.
Now, most people are going to get something pretty normal. Maybe 5 heads, 5 tails, or 6 and 4. Right around the average.
Right, that's what you'd expect from math.
Yep. But just by pure chance, a few of those 1,000 people are going to get something weird. A few of them will get 8 or 9 heads in a row.
And those are the lucky ones.
They are. But here's the trap. Those people who got 9 heads might start to think they have a special talent for flipping coins.
Like they've figured out a secret system.
Exactly. But we know it's just math. It's just randomness. The market is the same way. With millions of people trading, some of them are going to get lucky and win a bunch of times in a row at first.
So you can't judge your own skill based on just 1 or 2 trades. Or even 10.
You absolutely can't. You need a lot of trades over a long time to see if your success is something you can actually repeat, or if you were just one of the lucky coin flippers.
That brings up a really interesting point. When you look on social media or in the news, you only seem to see the winners. Why is that?
That is such a key idea. It's called survivorship bias.
Survivorship bias.
Yeah.
What's that in simple terms?
It means you only see the survivors. You see the successful few who made it, but you forget about all the people who tried, failed, and just disappeared.
The quiet losers?
The quiet losers. In trading, social media shows you the people who were lucky enough to hit those 9 heads in a row. They're loud about it.
Right, they're posting their huge gains.
But you never, ever see the thousands of other people who took those same big risks, lost all their money, and quietly quit.
So it makes trading look way easier than it actually is.
It completely skews your view. It even happens with professional investment funds. When a fund does really badly and closes down, it often gets removed from the public reports.
So the historical performance numbers you see are only for the funds that survive.
A lot of the time, yes. The failures are just erased from the record. This makes the average returns look better than they really were.
So the lesson for you, the listener, is when you see someone constantly posting these massive wins,
You have to remember that you're only seeing the tiny, tiny fraction of traders who survived. You're not seeing the huge number of people who took those same risks and lost everything. You're not seeing the whole picture.
okay, so that line between taking a calculated risk and just gambling, let's break that down further.
Yeah.
What are the signs that your trading has turned into gambling?
Well, before we talk about gambling, we have to quickly touch on risk. You see, risk is just the chance that what actually happens is worse than what you expected,
Including losing your money?
including losing some or all of your money. And a basic idea in finance is that to get a higher potential return, you have to take on higher risk. There's no guarantee.
Okay, so risk is part of the game. What makes it gambling?
Gambling is when your results depend mostly on hope and emotion, not a plan.
So what are the signs?
The first one is trading because you're bored and you want some excitement.
Yeah, you're looking for that adrenaline rush.
Exactly. Trading shouldn't be for entertainment. Another huge one is chasing losses.
What's that?
That's when you lose a trade and you immediately jump back in with a bigger, unplanned trade to try and win your money back right away.
It's like revenge trading against the market.
It is. You're emotional, you're not thinking clearly. Another sign is doubling down without a real reason or trading more when you're angry or sad.
And I guess the biggest one is what kind of money you're using.
That is the ultimate line. If you are using money that you absolutely cannot afford to lose,
Like your rent money or college savings.
yes, then you are gambling, period. Skilled trading is done with money you've set aside for risk.
So gambling is all about hope. But trading with skill is about having a process. What kind of questions should a beginner ask themselves to move away from that gambling mindset?
They need to focus on their process, not the profit. Ask yourself, what rules am I using for my trades, for when I get in and when I get out?
So forcing yourself to have a plan.
Right. Ask, how will I know if my plan even works over time? And this one's critical. What happens if I have a bunch of losses in a row? Do I have a rule for that?
So you're planning for failure, not just success.
You have to. These questions force you to focus on building a skill, not just hoping for luck.
Okay, so if luck is just a random result you didn't control, let's define skill. What does real skill look like?
Skill is the opposite of luck. It's a repeatable process that you can explain and follow on purpose.
Let's walk through what that looks like for a beginner. What are the key parts of skill?
Okay, there are 3 main components. First is the plan. You have to have clear written rules for when you enter a trade and, just as importantly, when you exit a trade,
Both for winning trades and losing trades.
especially for losing trades. You have to know when to admit you were wrong and get out. The second component is having strict risk rules.
What does that mean in practice?
It means using rules to manage how much you risk every single time. For example, a common rule is to never risk more than a very small percentage of your money, say 1%, on any single trade.
That seems really small.
It is, and that's the point. If you only risk 1%, a few losing trades won't hurt you badly. It keeps you in the game. It protects you from bad luck.
Okay, so you have a plan, you have risk rules. What's the third part?
The third part is discipline. It's being able to actually follow your plan and your rules, even when you're feeling scared or greedy.
Even when your emotions are screaming at you to do something else.
That's when it matters most. Skill is following the plan, even when it's hard.
Now here's something I think trips people up. Having skill doesn't mean you win all the time, right?
Not at all. And that's a huge point. Even the best, most skilled traders in the world have losing trades. They have losing days, even losing weeks.
So what's the difference then?
The difference is that a skilled trader knows how to handle those losses. They lose in a controlled way. Their risk rules protect them, so they stay in the game long enough for their skill, their edge, to work out over many, many trades.
They protect themselves when they're wrong.
That's the entire game.
So what are some concrete signs that you, as a beginner, are actually building that real skill?
Okay, here's a good checklist. First, you have simple written rules for when you buy and sell. They're on paper, not just in your head.
Number 2.
You use consistent position sizes. You risk the same small amount each time. You aren't betting big one day and small the next.
Makes sense. What else?
You can explain the reason for every trade you make in 1 or 2 clear sentences. If you can't, it was probably a gamble.
I like that one. It forces you to be honest with yourself.
It does. Another one. You keep a trading journal. You write down your trades, why you took them, and how you felt. Then you review it to learn from your mistakes.
And the last one.
Your emotions are there, you're still human, but they don't control your decisions. You follow your rules no matter what.
And all of this really connects to a bigger picture, right? Building skill isn't just about trades. It's about following good, general tips for investing.
Absolutely. It starts with setting clear investment goals. Why are you even investing? For retirement in 30 years? For a house in 5 years? That answer changes everything.
It also means knowing your time frame. If you need the money soon, you shouldn't put it in something super risky.
Exactly. And patience. Skillful investing is usually a long-term game. Trying to get rich quick is usually just luck-based gambling. You also have to educate yourself. Know what you're buying. Don't just act on hot tips.
And finally, managing risk through diversification. That's a big one.
It is. Diversification just means spreading your money around among different types of investments. So if one part of your portfolio does badly, the others might still do well and balance it out. It's the best way to protect yourself from the bad luck of one single investment failing.
So to summarize our look at luck versus skill, luck is a random result you didn't control.
Right, like getting heads 9 times in a row. It feels great, but it's not repeatable.
And skill is a repeatable process. It's built on written rules, consistent risk management, and discipline.
And you just can't judge your ability from only a few trades. That's the biggest trap.
So always ask yourself that final question. Can I explain this trade to someone else? If the answer is, no, I just hoped it would go up.
Then that was luck. But if the answer is yes, I followed steps A, B, and C of my plan, then that was skill.
If you're a beginner and want to understand trading more clearly, you can take our free beginner trading quizzes at trendlinegala.com and test what you've learned so far.
Next time, we'll talk about the hidden risks in trading, the stuff beginners usually don't see until it's too late.
Thanks for joining us at Trendline Gala.